Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. I'm afraid it's a bit of a grey and rainy day today, so I do apologise if either A, you can hear the rain, or B, it is a bit of a dull grey picture. I'm sat underneath the window, but unfortunately, as you know, the light will only be as good as it wants to be. So today I'm bringing you the what I would class as a Brusho Valentine's card. I think this one's really cute, and I had an idea in my mind. It didn't quite work out, but this isn't far off. But I just think it's lovely and it's just a little bit different, so I'm going to show you how I do this. Now, before I start this, I just want to show you something really cool. I had my nails done last week, I think it was now, and as you can see there, this lovely sort of grey steel glittery colour. Unfortunately my thumb's already changing, so it's sort of spoilt the surprise, but I'm just going to show you what happens when they get warm. And obviously I'm using my heat tool because it's quickest and easiest. How amazing is that? I absolutely love it. I'm like a little kid and I keep putting my hands in cold water and then warming them up again, and it's just amazing. I love it. It's just, they're just so much fun. So yeah, so that's real fun. So you see, they're starting to cool down again now, so they're starting to go funny colour. But yeah, I love them. I think they're great. So, but that's so you'll be keeping an eye on my nails now when I'm doing this to see what colour they end up at the end. Right, so let's start off with my really cute card. So obviously we're using some watercolour paper, and this is just cut down as a layer for my standard card size there. I'm using the lovely Heart Happiness. Oops, piece of ribbon attached. I love this stamp set. I just think that there are so many options, and I have actually stamped, I think, all of them. All of them bar about, oh no, I'm fibbing. Probably half of them. I have used that one, I do know that. But there's just so many different variations there for different projects and different ideas. I just love this one. I don't know why, it's just something about it. I just think it's delicate and yet not overly flowery or girly. So I quite like that one, and that's the one I've used, which I've got here on my D block. Again, as I'm sure you can anticipate, my dogs will bark. I'm on my own at home again today, so there's a chance that they are going to bark and people will come to the door and it'll be chaos. So I do apologise for that too. And thirdly, as you can probably tell, I'm getting over another silly cold, but hey, I'm feeling fine. It's just obviously just this little bit that's left, but I'm absolutely fine. So let's crack on with this fabulous card. So, like I said, I've got my watercolour card, I've got my stamp, I need my embossing buddy just to get rid of any of the residual grease off my hands. And yeah, I don't have greasy hands, but it is a natural thing that does occur when you're using card and paper. Versamark, nice and juicy ink pad. Now, I did struggle to line these up. I'm not very good at stuff like that. If you've got a good light, which I haven't today, you can just about make out where your hearts are. And oh, you can actually see better than I can. Might be easier to look through the camera. And you just line them up, which I'm hoping is what I've just done there, nice and neatly. And then I need my clear embossing powder, and you can do this with white as well. I haven't tried it myself yet. I've only had a play with the clear. As usual, like most things, you just run out of time. So just using some clear and popping it on all of those hearts. Shake off the excess. Whoops! I'm just going to put a little bit more on this end one because I don't know if I covered that completely. Tap the excess off. Let's put the lid on. Excuse me. And then obviously we need to heat emboss the flower, the hearts. Now, I have done this a few times, this actual design, and I found two things basically. Firstly, if you don't fully heat emboss, it won't work. You need to make sure with this clear embossing powder that you get that real shiny look, because if you get a sort of a dull look, it's not heat embossed enough and it won't work. And as I say, just make sure that it is really shiny. Go along and heat it all up, and then once you have done this bit, you need to just leave it for a minute or two, just to, well, I say a minute or two. I left mine maybe half an hour or so while I just walked my dogs, just to make sure that that's completely set. Excuse me. Just to make sure that's completely dried and completely set. So I'm going to put that to one side, because as any old fashion, here's one I did earlier. As you can see, this one, I didn't line it up too well. I've got a big gap there and this one's at the edge, but never mind. This actually won't be the one going on the card because I've got another one after this. So, my dogs are barking. I forgot to grab a sheet of kitchen towel, so just bear with me while I grab this. Oh, come on, there we go. So, the next part, I always put a sheet of kitchen towel down just because it makes it easier and stops the Brusho and the water and everything wrecking everything around you. So let's move that card to one side. So this is my embossed hearts that I've heat embossed with the clear embossing powder, exactly the same as I've just shown you, only this one's been left maybe 5-10 minutes. So I've got my brilliant red Brusho, and again just my one little hole at the top, and I'm literally just like a salt or a pepper pot, just gently tapping on the bottom, and I'm just covering that area round the hearts. That's all I want, and that's the only amount I'm putting on. Stampin' Spritzer, brilliant. Just plain tap water in there. Make sure you point your nozzle the right way. I'm not going to tell you how many times I've got it in my eye. And I really start right up here, so right by my camera, maybe a good 12 inches, what's that, about 30 centimetres away initially, and I just put down a little bit and just give it literally a few seconds, and you'll see if it's going to take or not. And then I get a bit lower, and then I sort of decide that, right, those are the bits that haven't got caught. That's it. Don't overwater because it will just become a mushy mess. Excuse me. I was hoping I wouldn't cough or need to cough, but as usual, you're talking, so you do. My dog is barking, and because she wants attention. Right, scrap piece of kitchen roll, and I hope they don't start fighting now. That's all I need. I've just got a piece of this kitchen towel that I've just ripped up into pieces, and I'm just literally going to fold it up so that I've got it over my finger. I don't really want that point because that may cause you a bit of a mess, but you can already see, obviously, yes, my card's bending, but you can already see my heart starting to come through, and all I simply do is get my kitchen towel and just go round those hearts, and I actually just filled in any bits that missed. So just sweeping round, and I just actually fill in the middle, and obviously this end one didn't seem to get too much. Not as good as the other one, I don't think. As usual, your first attempt always looks better, and this one's obviously bled this way, which is fine. And so that's basically it, and then you need to set that aside to dry, which is what I've done here. And again, this one looks slightly better now. This one's dry. I don't know if it's just a different, you know, if it looks different once it's dried. I don't know. I'll pop that to one side. So, card base and my dry, or almost dry, watercolour paper that's been done. So, because this has bent slightly with the heat embossing and the water, I'm going to use my fuse just to give it some extra adhesive and extra hold. And I am putting it on all 4 sides. So, just pop this onto my base, and for some reason I've got a clump of glitter there. I don't even know where that's come from. So that's my card layer adhered. Get rid of all that powder and stuff. And so I just need to decorate it now. So I've used the Sure Do Love You stamp set. with the Sure Do Love You. I actually wanted a simple I love you. That was all, and I couldn't find it, so I thought, well, do you know what? Sure Do Love You is probably the same, if not better. So I thought, do you know what? We'll just go with that. I'm using Very Vanilla because the watercolour paper is slightly off-white, and I think if you use white, it's quite a stark contrast. Let me just see if I can... stamp set keeps falling over. If I can just grab some of my scrap Whisper White just to show you. It's sort of quite stark because, like I said, the watercolour paper's off-white. So I generally use vanilla, and I think it looks better. So, Sure Do Love You, real red... simple, straightforward, just stamp onto your cardstock, and then we're obviously going to cut this out, so I'll just move these a second. So bring in my Big Shot, and I'm also using the Lots to Love box framelets because it has the banner die in there. So pop this on, not that way, spin it round, and just obviously line it up. You could, if you don't have the framelets, you could fussy cut this out. I don't think it's a particularly awkward shape to cut out. But, so there's my banner. Move that out of the way, bring my cards back in, and so I simply popped excuse me, 3 dimensionals on the back, so either end and in the middle. I then added, and this is where I sort of probably do it differently to some, I added a glue dot either side of the dimensionals, and this is just where I'm going to adhere my metallic thread. So I've got silver metallic thread, which I just go round about 4 or 5 times, and then I just simply pull one side together, stick it to the glue dot, then do, it's sort of a bit fiddly because obviously this metallic thread wants to go anywhere you don't want it to, and then I just make sure that my ends are tucked in. And if they're a little too long or, you know, in the wrong place to be tucked, then I just give them a little trim, just so that they're tidy and out of the way. And, you know, if you want to sort of mess around with that, you can do. I'm quite happy with that one. I messed with that one, of course. If you could add the elements of 2 or 3 cards, then you'd probably have a really nice card. But as always, one thing will go right on one card and then not on another. So there's my metallic thread. Looks like I've got ears now. Let's try and untwist that piece. There we go. So there's those. And then last but not least, I want to add some of these beautiful metallic enamel shapes. Again, just to sort of try and emphasise this silver metallic thread. And also just to sort of add a bit of something, because let's be honest, it is a lot of red going on here. Excuse me, but I think the hearts do look particularly nice. Do I need another one? Do you know what I am? I'm going to put another one there on this one. And that, good job I've come to the end of my video because I've got a cough lurking. And there is my finished card. I think I prefer this one. I think I prefer the effect, although it's technically upside down, isn't it, if I turn that one round. I suppose they're very similar, but I do love it. And actually this one that I did do, that I let to dry, is actually looking okay now. It's starting to dry. I think it's lovely. I think it's a great way and a great effect, and these brushos are so much fun. So make sure you get yours today. There is a link for it below that you can click on and go straight to the shop to purchase them, or you can click on the link to my blog or to my shop. Either one, you can purchase them from there. But these are all available in the spring summer catalogue. So pop along and have a look. Hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.